Beetles out there and in full show for racing action. And I tell you what, when you add heat and feature racing in, it's Jake Sperry, it's John Harris. John, I think you have found heaven on earth.
Oh, yes. Because I'd always asked myself the question of, what if we took a Rallycross car and put it on a championship off-road racing track, aka Crandon? This will be chaos, and this will be confusion, and this will be just laughter throughout. So grab your popcorn, grab your favourite beverage, and sit back and relax, as they say.
Yes, everything is going to be about how you can manage to survive, first and foremost, and then secondly, how do you position yourself to get the best chance of victory. But this is in what I'd still classify as the early stages of the season. So if you are here for the first time, you haven't seen what the Creator Series is, whether you've stumbled across the Creator Series or you're here with us on iRacing having a little look at what makes the Creator Series so fun, it's a different car and a different track each and every single week. And that is going to be the huge difference maker, John, that everyone is going to be keeping their mind on. The fact that there is no form book week to week to week.
Yeah, this is the first sort of intermission from regular circuit racing, really, where the drivers now have a completely different challenge. And I can tell you that in their practice session on Tuesday, there were a few drivers perhaps struggling, as their own words would say. I would say doing multiple barrel rolls, but we'll gloss over that point, as I'm sure we'll see enough of them during the actual racing. But for sure, you've got to adapt to it. Four-wheel drive, obviously, on the Rallycross car, and indeed, everybody struggling out there, including the unsafety car. So even if we have a safety car deployed, we might see some additional shenanigans.
Yeah, this is the pride of dirt racing here in Wisconsin, here Crandon. And let's take a little bit of a discussion about where our championship stacks itself up as we get ourselves ready. Kamikaze in control on 737 championship points. Alex Gillen, not here today, is going to be in second with Sparks, Strasner, and Brendan Hyperstar, the three who will look to be giving chase over this summer shake-up. Matt 212 is in sixth with Aiden Pohl seventh, ahead of El Taco Man and Punju. Ryan L83 down in 10th position. Does not indicate the level of pace that has been had there. You look down through the rest of the top 20, and pretty much it's a case of consistency is going to pay off. If you've had a little bit of misfortune over the first couple of races, you can't really be too disappointed by being further down. You just need to buckle up and get yourself into play. You've got to lock in.
Yeah, for sure. And there's quite a few drivers that have some WRC experience from the Creator Series as well, by the names of Kamikaze, Encephalosis, Aerotech, Ryan L83. So those drivers will be hoping to get amongst the top positions to increase their championship standings. However, they will be met by the Crandon DALL'OLMO, and if anybody knows that name from iRacing, there's a good prospect that they will from the World's Championship Series, especially the off-road stuff. So we have some heavy hitters today, and I can tell you in practice, the top three have been Aerotech, Crandon DALL'OLMO, and Kamikaze in no particular order because they are so close in the time. So even at the front of the pack, we should have some good action today.
Yeah, there's been no true leader. It's been a case of I'll find a 10th here, I'll find a 10th there, as we are currently in the final dying embers of practice before qualifying will take itself a hold, which they will have 15 minutes to set a qualifying lap time in. They will have 10 lap attempts to go and make that work. And in their heats, they are limited to 20 minutes, and we believe it will only be just the one heat that will be ran here today. And then that will set the grid for the feature, which will double the time to 40 minutes. As we look with Aerotech here right now, really having to make work then over through Ponce Corner, turn number 2, and then running through on the skybox straight, looking for the Polaris gravel pit here at turn number 4. There's 1,000 ways you can take this, but a diamond line, you want to try and get as straight as you can early, because you know that Polaris flyaway jump's going to be taken with maximum air.
Yeah. And into the final turn of the lap, actually, the Calamity Corner, which I love the name of, to be honest, and you can see why, because the start-finish line is right there. So if you're literally right behind one car, you always want to chuck it up the inside, and we've seen that multiple times both in real life and indeed virtual racing as well. So this circuit has, as you said, 10,000 lines. You've got to choose the right one, and that will evolve as well as the track degradation means that you have more or less grip depending on how many cars have gone round the lap and where they've actually driven. So it's going to be really interesting to see drivers adapt to that and who can find the ultimate pace into qualifying and indeed in the races.
Yeah, and there's a big difference here compared to what you see. This is a track that is known predominantly for the stadium trucks that run around this place, John. And the big difference maker is we're putting rallycross cars on it. So effectively, rallycross cars should be able to take the lumps, the bumps, and the jumps. But the difference is going to be that these jumps aren't designed for these rallycross cars. So this is going to take a very heavy toll on the suspension.
Yeah, these cars are not designed for it at all. So apart from the stiff suspension and not enough suspension travel, they don't have enough fuel to complete the races as well. So we're going to see pits, and that will happen after the Skybox Straight. So instead of going into Polaris gravel pit, they will instead dart off to the right into the pit lane, which is behind that corner there. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Also, if we hadn't mentioned it before, they will be starting 10 wide in what I can only describe as a field down into turn 1. So it's going to be chaos, it's going to be confusion, but as we've said before, it's going to be absolutely brilliant and genius from all of the drivers, I'm sure.
It's also the longest turn name, I think, in all of motorsport, because as we watch Aiden Pohl go through the Forest County Potawatomi turn 1 corner out on track, by the time that you've said it, he's through it and already eyeing up Ponce turn 2. So you can see that huge jumper there, hits the berm on the inside. That will scrub a fair bit of speed, and now you're looking to try and attack through turn 2, secondary jump over the top, lands nice and square, and now looks to drive along the Skybox Straight here to the Polaris gravel pit. So you're really trying to work for a line that certainly suits and favours, and there, of course, that gravel pit is where the pits come out. That big jump over the flyaway there, the Polaris flyaway. Now it's Calamity Corner, because Calamity strikes if you lose it on the final lap. Through the McCoy finish line and through now on to start another lap. This right here of turn 8, possibly the greatest corner name ever, Box of Tools corner, it is known, because if you get it wrong, well, you're going to need a box of tools to fix up the car.
Yeah, also equally strange name is just the turn they've gone through there, Argonne Corner, which is a forest or a place near Belgium in Europe. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Perhaps a reference to the battles fought there with US troops, but I'm not quite sure on that one. I'm sure I'll be able to maybe find a reference, although I did research it before, so I didn't really find anything other than that. But yeah, very open track, very fast and flowing with these cars, obviously. But the problem is that the grip of the tires is not as good as you would expect. So they've got sort of a Rallycross spec dirt tire, so they're not really full gravel tire like you'd have normally on a track like this. So if you start sliding sideways, you've got to be careful of the grip levels and generally the traction. You can't just floor the throttle and hope to find grip. You've actually got to be very smooth and calculated both on braking, turning, and indeed on the throttle. So you've got to send it like that over the jumps and it will bounce, and you've just got to pray that you don't end up either on top of another car or just plain and simple on your roof.
Yeah, you really hope that you can avoid all of those dramas happening, and Aiden Pohl crosses the line with an 18.7, which is good enough to go to third place. But Kamikaze has decided, right, no messing about. That is 0.8 of a second quicker than anybody else there with a 117.5. I've just seen Canton DALL'OLMO and Killer Cleo come together over the top then of the Polaris flyaway jump. Now, you are going to find that drivers here will have a different range of speed and can carry speeds compared to different drivers. So with Killer Cleo out there at the moment, we've got a difference between a 117 and a 126. So if you're slow out there and you're looking for the best line, it's very easy to find yourself in the middle. And with that limited grip surface here, the dirt rather than running about on asphalt, it is almost impossible to get out of the way. You can see that backing it up completely into the corner, goes to a full complete stop to try and get going. That will invalidate the lap for loss of control. Yeah,
wow, that's a reverse entry if I've ever seen one, and I think this is a Need for Speed livery from the Need for Speed Most Wanted, is that? That's a livery that I think is a reference to the is it the golf in that game? Anyway, it looks very familiar, let's put it that way. But I love the references that we have from the liveries, everybody being a bit creative. And so I think Aerotech is feeling the speeds today, and I'm sure that he'll try and get that top step. From practice, I've seen we've got, well, Conta and Kamikaze were joint fastest on basically a 117.5, so Kamikaze's already got there. Conta having that lap a little bit, I don't want to say hindered, but just didn't manage to get a clean lap, colliding with Killer Cleo. So that is going to be a problem, is most of these jumps are unsighted, as you can see. So you've just got to go over them and have confidence that there's nobody there on the landing, but you have no control over that, and you've just got to keep out there, keep the fast laps going. The track will be getting faster because as the track, well, to this time rubbers in, but in fact it creates a line in the dirt, more like, for simpler turns. You will be gaining more and more grip, effectively. So the longer you're out there, the fast, well, until the end of the session, the track will be getting faster, to put it plain and simple.
You'll be getting slicker, and so you can grip up a bit more. First start then for Love 46, then in the number 46 machine, coming out of the Cowboy hairpin and along this front stretch and really making the scramble work. And you can see there the windscreen wipers trying to shake off the dirt through the Forest County Potawatomi turn 1, out of there and over towards Ponce turn 2, really trying to work with the jumps, and certainly gets it squared up through the next part, and then has to try and work again, does she, now through onto the skybox straight. So this is where you're trying to really work hard and find that time. Supreme now up into 11th position with El Taco Man, and now you're starting to see that the times are falling away. It's all about carrying the momentum, making sure that you're slow into the corners to try and get as much traction off of the exits. DALL'OLMO has gone second on a 17.7. Brennan Hyperstar now up to a 19.8. And there is Supreme over the line. 22.5 on that last attempt, not good enough. But with 8 minutes to go, it's all about finding some rhythm.
Yeah, it's also about not overheating the tires or cooking the tires, because you're sliding all the time, you're spinning up the tires, and in fact there is a sort of limit of the amount of grip that you can find out there after 1 or 2 laps, because the tires just start sliding more and more. And so I think we'll see most of the top drivers have either been in the pits or just about to come into the pits for a fresh set of tires, and indeed probably a refuel as well, just to get back out there and hopefully set some better times. Because we saw the lap times drop off significantly by like 4 or 5 seconds in practice after only 3 or 4 laps. So realistically, you've got 2 laps out there to put in a good lap, and then you've got to come in for new tires. One of the problems also is starting a lap. I mean, you've got some drivers finishing a lap, but you want to go really wide here to get the best line over the jump, carry the most speed into what is turn 5 of the track. So the start-finish line isn't turn 1, would you believe? But yeah, it's such a technical lap because you've got so many people out there on different lines, and that is going to cause havoc, as it already is doing, as Ryan is having a lot of skipping over the jumps, that's for sure.
And I'd like to point out that he's ready to participate, John, in the Crucible with that picture.
No comment on that picture. He's definitely suited for the occasion, although I do love the livery as well on his car as well. That's oh, we've got a lovely one from B-Roy as well. He's always so creative, and I think he's going for a theme this year with his liveries, that's for sure, and makes it easier for us in the commentary box, I must say. But he should be well suited as well for this track, because all of that experience in the WRC should mean that he at least keeps it somewhat pointing in a straight line, which, well, I say that, he's gone reverse entry into that one. Nicely done.
Yeah, a lovely amount of turn then through and working out over the Polaris gravel pit, and now the flyaway jump into Calamity Corner, again trying to work the early turn to prioritize a quick exit at just 50 miles an hour. 120.0 there was 0.6 of a second slower than his best, so this will gear up for another one, as we watch with Els Indriani down at the bottom of the timing stand, and down at the bottom of the timing stand by 2 seconds. And that is not a, I would say, a small amount of time. And that might be one of the reasons why, trying to be a little bit too early on the power with not enough steering. So we say that, you know, tight is quick in a lot of circles that you go through. I think that's taken a little too literally here by Els. This is tough in terms of how you go around the circuit. You do need to kick the tail out.
Wow, Crandon DALL'OLMO, sorry to interrupt, I'll get back to that thought, but 17.2 to go top of the standings. Kamikaze hasn't improved his previous time thus far. Aerotech, I think, improved because he was 0.8 of a second out, but with Crandon improving by 0.3, I think he got another lap in there somewhere. And Cephalosis up to P6 and Ryan P7 now. So we're seeing that experience come out. And to be honest, yeah, to answer or to get the topic back up, what you were saying, it can be very paradoxical in which you want to run the normal racing line, but you kind of get bogged down. The car kind of stalls mid-apex if you either go in there sliding too much, or indeed if you try and just not drift at all. And so you've really got to run like a curved racing line like we see here. Just go all the way out to sort of the middle of the track, use the banking, because there's a lot of grip with that gravity working with you, and then you can get the launch off of the corner. It's all about carrying momentum on this course, and not going the wrong side of the wall for Sparks. I think he might have to turn around there, or indeed go back to pits. I think we're about to see him go back, yeah. That is,
I think that's the quickest way to end your lap, so indeed. I think we're seeing a lot of that, and there is El Taco Man, or in this case, man out there. So he is just a man today. He's not got the tacos. He is just a man.
He's just that guy, built different, as they say. And yeah, indeed, he's trying to get a lap time on the board. I mean, P12 at the moment, not bad at all, but definitely wanting to improve, and he will start his lap now. So we'll have to wait and see. So you can see a lot of people using that banking. You really want to get up on the banks because it gives you more traction, and indeed, like an oval, basically, you want to use the momentum to swing back down, and that is way too much to the inside Rallycross line there, but it won't work out too well, as down this straight, you'll be losing all the speed in the world as you approach Cowboy Hairpin, which I think is one of the best names for a corner ever. Use the banking, oh, can't get it turned in, need to use the handbrake early enough, and I think that was a little bit late, but has managed to get good exit speed. So down into the longest name, let's repeat it again, Forest County, Potawatomi, turn 1, hell yes, that's a lovely name. Sliding all the way, and you can see that clean line there developing just as he goes over it, so every single time a car does that, there will be more grip there.
Yeah, really trying to work hard. And you've got to also remember, you've got to make sure that the car bounces on all 4 tyre contact patches, because that's the quickest way to get the power on. You can have these massive jumps through, and we saw it through the first part there of turn 2 out there, Ponce turn 2. It was all about trying to carry that speed through, John, but when the car pitches in bottom left and has to take an extra bounce to settle, it takes longer to put the power down.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say Brendan Hyperstar up to P5 there, 7/10 off the pace, so lovely improvement. As El Taco Man, I don't think improved across the line, still P13, so still some margin to go. And it's very difficult with these cars because they've got quite a bit of weight over the front axle, so when you land, you've always got that big impact on the front, and so the front of the car lifts up, a bit like it would do in rally from a big impact. And while that happens, you've got no steering, you've not got no weight on the front, so you can't turn. So you've got to sort of play that balanced game between carrying the speed and indeed being safe, as I think Kamikaze has aborted that lap, or indeed tried to go at the fastest. Still hasn't improved from his initial lap. That's surprising, but we all know Kamikaze's strength is just the consistency.
Yeah, and there'll be next to no time to go back around and have a final attempt. The good news about this place is that pit exit here is with just 1 corner to go. So you've got about 30 seconds, basically, to get it back together. There is Crandon DALL'OLMO here, who is on a very, very good run. Or just DALL'OLMO here at this point, working really well here in terms of finding that time, and a 1:17.2 is 3/10 to the good, and this is one of those categories that if you're brand new to it, the margin is astronomical.
Look at it. He's going to go round the outside of that corner, just carry the speed we're on with B-Roy now just approaching. We are on the Polaris gravel pit now, going over the flyway jump as well. So we're approaching where Contan was. So he took a very wide line to carry the speed. But if you're on the lap, well, I was saying if you are on the lap, but he's aborted that lap. But if you are on the lap, you have to take a closer line to the inside to just not... effectively lose time with adding extra meters and distance to the lap. You want to almost just diagonally jump across the finish line if this is your last lap. And indeed, I think B-Roy might not even make it to the line here. Yeah, he's going to run out of time.
Oh, and that'll do for everyone. So field is done. Field is set. So we got one heat to go through, and it's exactly as they qualified. It's a scramble start. So we got 16 here today that will all look to try and funnel through. 10 wide, they will go. Crandon DALL'OLMO will be on pole position with Kamikaze alongside then the company on the front. It will then follow with Aerotech and Aiden Pohl as Brendan Hyperstar and B-Roy will be in 5th and 6th positions. Encephalosis and Ryan L83 are 7th and 8th with Strasner in 9th and Monkey Matt, who remember won the opener out then over with Monza and the Lotus 79s, will be going from 10th. It's then Supreme TV, Sparks in 12th, El Taco Man is 13th, then it's Love 46, Killer Cleo, and Els Indriani, who make up your top 16 as they get themselves all lined up. They have the 2 minutes to do so, and they will have 20 minutes to go out there and race and say, this is exactly how we want to go about things. This is just to set your stage, to say this is how they will run in the feature and say this is where the points are. This is going to be a tough start. There are a few lumps and bumps that some drivers, if you get effectively a poor qualifying, you're not going to be in the right place to deal with that start. But when you're trying to rush with everything that you've got over to Potawatomi turn 1, the Forest County Potawatomi turn 1, it's 10 that has to go into 2, and there will be 8 who have to try and find themselves back into line. Watch out for drivers not revving on the start, because the idling of the engines creates more torque and more drive off of the start of these races when you hold the handbrake down and say that's the way you've got to try and get that launch. So keep an eye out on a lack of engine revs, which will get themselves ready, and 2 minutes are just about to put themselves on the board. So let's get ourselves set. Let's get ourselves ready, because we are in for heat racing action. Green flag drops and the scramble commences as they now look to work themselves into line well heavy over the bumps, and now looking to try and get a line. What a start by Kamikaze. Immediate dramas then in the middle. Look at that. Only about a handful escaped through without anything to say about it. Els Indriani, Killer Cleo, B-Roy I think was the first one turned around, and immediately dramas befall.
The top 3 that make it through there are Kamikaze, Aerotech, and Contan. They've got so lucky there. And this is going to be now a flat-out pace race. But in the middle, I think it was Ryan L83 getting spun around that created all of that incident. Just a little tap of the cars. But you can see that grid has just been reshuffled here with Monkey Matt, P4 now. Brendan Hyperstar, P5, as Kamikaze is getting attacked by Aerotech. You want to get those moves done early so you can defend the position. Now we'll see those different lines come into play, especially in the upcoming very tight corners here as we go into our gone corner and now the straightaway before Cowboy Hairpin. We'll see Contan trying to attack on the inside probably as Aerotech goes defensive. He knows what's up, he knows what's about to happen. Contan will try and hold it around the outside and power through. You'll see Kamikaze taking a wide line as well, and with the help around the outside of the banking, Contan makes that move look easy.
It was no, leave me alone, said Aerotech, and then he nothing I can do there. Easy as you like went the pass, and you just have to sit there and say, well, I can't do anything about some of those. So a very quick move being made, and DALL'OLMO up to second, and Cephalosis in a scrap right now. This one is going on for 10th place at this stage, and so now you've got Supreme just in front, and then Aiden Pohl is in play as well, just behind. So there is still a lot to try and deal with. 9th, 10th, and 11th on circuit, but you're trying to work, and just as we say that, there goes the spin that goes through, and was that Aiden Pohl finding himself wrong way? No, that's El Taco Man.
Yeah, El Taco Man, but Aiden Pohl getting in a little bit of trouble just trying to avoid the carnage. I think there might have been contact possibly between the two, as they were both on track around the same. I think we also saw El Zingerani or B-Roy facing the wrong way as well briefly there, as contact now in the midfield as well. Cephalosis will get 2 positions here, trying to go around the outside of Supreme. Will he get it stuck? Just bumped sideways, and that just means the momentum has been killed a little bit. He goes wide, and he's going to have to try and get it all back under control. We might have a 3 wide here. Oh, so close to it, but you can see the different lines, and you can see how difficult it is to defend, as its last and late breakers, in fact, has gone wrong, I think, for Aiden Pohl. Even before we get to the turn, he's going to try and take it all the way around the outside and keep it. That's Supreme, actually, that got it wrong. Aiden Pohl chasing down Cephalosis there in the black and red car. But yeah, this is already chaos, and we're only 2 laps in, and the tyres are still fresh.
They very much are. There are penalties that have come in that are struggling to be cleared. Strasner and El Taco Man, I believe, have just had them cleared away. So that will pretty much get that done. Sparks on the back of Supreme. Aiden Pohl trying to work any line to get by Cephalosis. So it's the middle of the middle to rear of the pack, which is starting to become the busy central of where we go, as DALL'OLMO sets the fastest lap of a 1:17.7 on the hunt of Kamikaze at this stage. Gaps slowly starting to form up then as they go, but the lead is one that Kamikaze does not want to see shrinking.
Yeah, this is going to be very hard-fought battle, because I know Kamikaze's done his homework. Crandon has the experience and indeed the homework to make it work around this course, and indeed with these cars. I think he's participated in both the Championship Off-Road Racing Series and indeed the Rallycross Series in iRacing as well, both at World Championship level. So really a daunting thing to have in your rearview mirror for Kamikaze, but he's equally as qualified to try and fight this one, and you can just see the tenths of second ebb away, with Crandon just taking some different and sometimes cleaner lines, as I think Kamikaze just struggling for turn in there, although Crandon looked like he went way too wide. Aerotech getting dropped a little bit, and Monkey Matt is not managing to close him up at the moment. He's just been caught by Brendan Hyperstar, as I think we had Killer Cleo with a little bit of a mistake also down to P13 now. So very difficult to keep consistency up, because you're slipping and sliding all over the place.
You absolutely are, and that will be keeping a lot of drivers in play. And there's a little think about it then into the 9th turn on track. Argonne Corner wasn't quite available, but DALL'OLMO now has the chance to throw an almighty send at the Cowboy Hairpin. Thinks about it again. He's going to try that wide line, but it's wise and covered. And that's sometimes what you've got to do in racing styles like this, is that you've just got to defend the position by taking a slightly different line, going a bit deeper into some of these corners, and you've got to almost predict and double predict what has to happen. That's a little narrow going through the opening section. Huge over the jump first time, huge over the second time. Crossover attempt, balked in the middle of the road here. DALL'OLMO's going to get a really good run out of Ponce turn, and this is going to open up the skybox straight and the Polaris gravel pit for where the move's going to be made. There's the contact between each other. DALL'OLMO at full spread eagle sideways, just about able to keep it going, brings Aerotech back to the party.
Oh, he was lucky to save that one, but skill as well, steering fully to the right and full power to recover that one, as he takes a wide line, does Aerotech. Almost too wide, in fact, nearly colliding with the inside. Had to back out of that one, but Crandon is on it straight away. Just back on the power, back on the speed, trying to get back to Kamikaze. And as you said, as long as you've got the exit speed, as long as you've got that traction, you can defend the position. So you can go very defensive. You can take some almost obnoxious lines for the other drivers. It's all perfectly legal. It's all perfectly defensive driving in this category of motorsports, and you've just got to work with it. And for drivers like Crandon, you've got to find a clean way past. He almost did, but those converging lines, once again, are a nightmare because you can't see the other driver until it's too late, and contact is almost inevitable. As, yeah, we've got the midfield basically just spreading out a little bit, mistakes happening, but they will converge. There's different paces happening here as Encephalosis has been overtaken now by Aiden Pohl. This is what we're seeing on our cameras right now, and you can see the difficulty with the cars as they will just bounce in a random direction sometimes, as B-Roy, I think, has gone for a spin as well, as Love 46 has overtaken him for P13. So yes, so many moves. I think this is the battle trying to find the car numbers here. 55 Killer Cleo and Love 46 battling with indeed B-Roy. So yeah, so much action happening on circuit to keep up with, and indeed it will carry on like that for the entirety of this race. Oh,
that is a massive sideways slide that brought itself into play. It was El Taco Man, or just Man, that had the spin, and all of those issues continue to drop into play. But for Love 46, it's a case of that car then holding itself steady. The Herbie Mobile, there is, the tap there onto the side, and that's how quickly a car can turn around. So that is just disastrous then for B-Roy, who did drop some time. Oh, and speaking of those who dropped some time, that is a bit of a very sticky situation to not want to be put into. That was El Taco Man, and how bad it was. And areas of the track, as we see that there, another little look on how quickly it can go wrong. Down the hill, there are areas of this track.
Oh, safety car deployed, I'm being told. Unsafety car is being deployed for that crash. All the way on their roof. I think that was El Zinjirani, but no, Sparks that was on their roof, sorry. And that was, I think, just contact in there. But so easy to spin the car and then become a target, it being stationary on the road. Because, you know, as soon as you start sliding, the worst thing you can do is hit the brakes. As Crandon, just while we're under potentially safety car conditions, Crandon just goes and completes his lap. Can I have confirmation we are under safety car, correct?
We are.
Indeed, so Crandon's
the
setting
issue
past
that you
his lap.
got here in terms of how that went about was that Sparks found himself going into the Boxer Tools corner, clipped the inside, effectively tagged the Marshall post up there, and also got tagged by a couple cars going through, which included Love 46. So that caused the chain reaction, and it means that we are going to be under running here under caution, and it will mean that Kamikaze is going to be the one who needs to be picked up by the number 100 unsafety car, the Dirt Legends 34. We've been taking a little look at this, and quite frankly, this car, which is rear-wheel drive, it's the equivalent of having a modern-day rally car going out there with a Group B spec out there by comparison. Just very difficult to hold together, and Killer Cleo, I think, has sped into the lane and has got a penalty.
Unfortunate. Maybe they'll get that removed. So easy to do because you just lose traction. And I think a lot of people coming in and taking fuel at this point. So I did hear that approximately every 10 laps, so just about 10 minutes of racing time, you have to come into the pits because you are literally on empty. So I think a lot of people will be taking the chance here to lose the least amount of time possible, and I don't think anybody will be able to stay out there because literally just the fuel tank is not big enough, as we have Crandon catching the unsafety car now. And has he been into the pits? I don't think he has. Just checking times, I don't think he has, and this might be a misplay as he's already caught the unsafety car.
Yeah, so this was a case of one in, one out. So DALL'OLMO here will catch. I think might lose the track position, needing to try and save the fuel out there. It's running at about 50 mile an hour at the moment, not trying to put too much through. Very short tanks, of course, with them running Rallycross spec, and that is El Taco Man looking to gain the lap back here, and that's what we see quite a lot here in Creator Series action, that you can go and gain the lap back if you have lost that. So it does bring a new scenario into play, and now in comes DALL'OLMO to make that pit stop, and all that time is gone. It's still going to be a cheap pit stop, but it's not as cheap as what it used to be. Kamikaze will re-inherit the race lead. Monkey Matt will now go to second, and Aerotech will be in third place. So that's how it's all going to now stack up as far as the front is going to be concerned. But as we do, we take a look at this. So just a little too much rotation over the berm, and then effectively takes a couple taps. And it is as simple as you're upside down on your lid. What else are we... Oh. And then that hit doesn't help things either.
Oh, and so unfortunate to not be bumped back on their wheels. So, yeah, that was an unlucky tumble. Just getting too much rotation, and once you've done that, you're just sliding toward the inside, no matter what you can do. So unlucky to get a rollover there, and very lucky for the cars to avoid him until they don't, and then just a bump there, giving another roll, just a different perspective, inspecting the texture of the dirt there while we're at it. Lovely texture, and yeah, just so unfortunate. But once you do that, you're a passenger. There's not much he could do once the initial crash happened, and that is the nature of dirt racing. I think Contown might have been caught out by this fuel scenario, because obviously with the normal trucks, you wouldn't have to pit under normal racing scenarios. So this is a little bit of I wouldn't say a loophole, but he definitely didn't think this one through, I think.
No, and I think this is one of those races where if you do work out that you're wrong place, wrong time, it's all right, because you will still be in the front row if you start anywhere in the top 10. So that's the key. There is Ryan L83 repping Nottingham Forest here today. Of course, we are in the middle of the transfer season, and the Premier League will kick off in a couple of weeks' time. So Ryan here is deciding that he's going to try and do his best Brian Clough.
That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, he's repping all of the different teams today, because he's got Audi livery on the car while driving a VW Beetle. I mean, he's just trying to throw us off the scent of something. I'm not quite sure what, but indeed, he'll be very happy that the safety car did, or unsafety car did come out, because that just allowed him to close back up after that initial incident on lap 1. Technically not even lap 1, because lap 1 starts at turn 4, so yeah, it's just so unfortunate, but he does have the pace, and he was working his way up the order. Currently P5, so not a disaster. And indeed, as the safety car, I think just warming up the tires, but also just proving how little grip there is at such low speed that you're sliding side by side. I think the most difficult job is all the safety car nearly collects a car trying to go round. And I think
Cleo.
Yeah, I think Killer Cleo did collect the safety car there, so that's quite unfortunate. But I think that
yours worse here, John.
Go ahead.
Killer Cleo very nearly caught the safety car and has 3 spotters.
Moving on. That's quite unfortunate, that's for sure. I'm not sure she would have liked that we point that out on broadcast. But yeah, definitely the most difficult job is right now driving the safety car, as that is so lightweight, has basically no suspension, even less than the Rallycross cars, and indeed, as you said, is rear-wheel drive. So I'm sure Nick is having both the time of his life and is scared every single corner right now.
So for Blake Jackson, Chris Leone and Marcus Hagman, who are the spotters here for Killer Cleo, hi, welcome, keep her in check, will you? But for the moment, B-Roy's the only other driver with a spotter. Jared Schultz is spotting for B-Roy here today. So those are your spotters. The unsafety car then is going to be jumping in at the end of the lap. So they're going to be down under 4.5 minutes. So this is going to be a frantic end to the heat, because everyone's going to have very minimal time to get up to speed and make some moves. So for Crandon DALL'OLMO here, down in 6th position, this is a case of must get by everyone ASAP.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm sure he will be diving up the inside at first opportunity, or indeed just repeating the move around the outsides, to be fair. That seems to be the successful one so far. You know, he knows how to make the moves work, just error in strategy. And I think also, one thing that the drivers need to start taking note of is the fact that the track is getting a lot more slick there. And there might be more grip, but it might be more dangerous to go sliding because of just the unpredictability. So maybe a change in driving style, change in driving line. Who knows? Who knows? At this point, the question marks are out there, and the answers aren't plentiful.
Oh, just look at the majestic way the unsafety car jumps across this area of Wisconsin. It is a wonderful level of car control by the unsafety car to make that work. And that unsafety car here will go straight into pit. Oh my goodness, right underneath the sides. You can't get much more better than that on the way they go. And it will bring Kamikaze back to green flag, running into Calamity Corner with a sizable gap. Monkey Matt and Aerotech scrapping hard for it, and now they're going to start tangling up here. Brendan Hyperstar here with Ryan L83 trying to find a way through, angling for that inside and not quite getting there. The Rainbow Machine holds its place.
Contan looking, waiting for them to make a mistake. He's going to try and go round the outside and keep the momentum. Yeah, he's got Ryan guaranteed here into Cowboy Hairpin, as he'll just have the overspeed, and he'll try and go round the outside of both of them. Ryan will have to leave the room on the outside. He doesn't want to do that. Contan's locked up and has tagged Brian Hyperstar as well. So Ryan will get up the inside. I think he just wanted to carry the speed, but Brendan Hyperstar wanted to take the racing line, and two converging lines. Once again, you could see Contan panic on the brakes, but luckily it worked out, as they will go drifting three astern, trying to fight this one through. Ryan looking to go to the outside, but Contan has to make this work. He will go to the inside. Brendan Hyperstar will try and go around the outside, but he's blocked off, and that means Contan has finally got through the two cars that were hindering him at the start, and now he can attack Aerotech once again this race.
Yeah, but has a bit of a gap to work with, and we're down to 1:45. That will be 2 laps to go. Big throw by Aerotech. Can he get it slowed up in the middle? Yes, what a balk on Monkey Matt to get that sorted. Matt back down to third. It is Aerotech that now jumps to second position. Love 46 now, dropping down the order and stuck against the finish line.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking to be stuck. So easy to do, just getting lodged on the barriers. We might see an overtake here. Contan going to the inside of Aerotech. He's going to run it deep, I think, and just try and get the traction off the banking. Aerotech knows exactly what happens, but Contan does it perfectly, just blocking the exit, and that is how you do it.
Yeah, now the final lap has been called here at the moment, so Aerotech's going to do everything possible there, as close as you can through Forest County, Potawatomi, turn 1, and again looking for drive here, going through at Posse turn 2, and for the moment, it's going to be for Ponce turn 2, a drive now. This is going to be a huge throw in. No doubts on who's winning this heat right now, running through, but Aerotech is very low and narrow through this section. Contan DALL'OLMO gets great drive, but no way of stopping against Kamikaze, who will run over towards the line and say, you know what, we got 20 more seconds yet.
Impressive, just impressive.
We're still going.
We're still going, but this is basically a done deal unless Kamikaze gets it wrong. Encephalosis going battling with Strassener. They're just pushing him onto the dirt. Yeah, it's just all battles now. You've only got a few turns remaining, and Kamikaze just trying to keep it safe at the moment. Contan, you could see him in the background just chucking it in, trying to get the maximum traction, but you can lose so much time doing that. The gap's way too big, so for Kamikaze, even a dab of the brakes into turn 1, and luckily lap traffic will still be able to carry on for another lap. But this has been just a demonstration of knowing a race strategy, knowing how to defend, and keeping it clean for the moment. Impressive stuff, as car's still getting it wrong.
Yeah, Aiden Pohl then really pushing. This is to try and get to 6th place, but it has been pretty plain sailing up at the front, making the right tactical decision. Kamikaze is proving that this is his creator series over the line and takes the heat without much drama. DALL'OLMO is second, Aerotech's third, Monkey Matt in a bit of a scrap to the line. Brendan Hyperstar out of Calamity Corner can't find a way through. So this is all about, can you manage through? And look at that, DALL'OLMO, a fastest lap to end off proceedings. The likes of B-Roy will need to make a rush to the line. Love 46 will be another one. She'll be trying to make that push, and then a lap down will be Sparks. And we all wait for Killer Cleo to run towards the line. She's a minute 15 down.
Yeah, unfortunately not going well, that restart for Killer Cleo. So easy to get involved in contact, and they were, I think you said, stuck on a barrier somewhere. Was it start-finish straight? So not ideal, but that's how it goes sometimes. They do have another race, though, to contend with, so it's not all lost. There's still a lot of points to be gained, and they will have now a better idea of how to get those points safely in the bag, as they say, as this midfield has not disappointed at all.
No, it certainly hasn't, and that will mean that when we will head to your main event, your feature, where we double the minutes out there and say, what can you do? Killer Cleo being waited for there through the final section with that little run through, and then that will be the line. Your heat then ends as follows: 20 minutes and 58 seconds. It took to get this all said and sorted by Kamikaze, who wins over Crandon DALL'OLMO in second position by 2.6 seconds. Aerotech will finish off in third, with Monkey Matt in fourth position. Brendan Hyperstar then will round out your top five, with Ryan L83 in sixth and Aiden Pohl in seventh position. It will then be Ancephalosis in eighth, Strasner will be ninth, and Supreme TV will round out the top 10. B-Roy will finish in 11th ahead of Love 46, with El Taco Man and Els Indriani 13th and 14th. Killer Cleo, she'll be the last one on the leading lap, and Sparks a lap down after rolling the car. Now, here's where it gets interesting, John, because for this feature, we're going to just reverse the grid.
And that sounds simple when it's just a two-row grid, let's say. However, as we saw on the first race, you don't want to be in that second row. So I think we might actually see some cars just hanging back a little bit, just to try and find their way, a little bit like in Cars at the start of the movie, just try and find their way through all of the incidents. But yeah, I mean, that start delivered, didn't it, in terms of chaos?
It really did. And speaking of delivering, I will deliver one Kamikaze here to have a chat with us. And it's a win in the heat. Is there anything that you can't do, Kamikaze?
I think so.
Well, we
don't
know yet what you can't do at the moment, because it seems like every single car track combo that we come together with, it certainly works. I mean, you're not even here. You're not even in your seat.
It will trigger the safety car. Okay.
Sorry, can you repeat? There was some noise from the game chat. Sorry.
No, you're all right, mate. It's one of those things where we're looking around every single week. You're up there at the top of the order. I know that this is sort of your specialty out there. In terms of how you're building together this season and this heat, is there anything you can't do?
Yeah, it's a lot. For example, I have never driven a F1 game the last 10 years, so maybe that's a new challenge. I don't know.
Well, talk us through dealing with a driver like Crandon DALL'OLMO behind you as far as this race went, because you were looking to try and go out there. You were looking to be in and around the mix. You got through the opening corners with the race lead, and ultimately he was able to pick up the pass. But the moment that the safety car came out, or the unsafety car came out, you had the strategy.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of little mistake from Conta, because he didn't have the race control voice, so he didn't knew there was a safety car. So yeah, that was a little bit unlucky for him. But he's alien. He is alien, and he is one to watch for in the next race. And Aero as well. Aerotech is fast on gravel, so Yeah, we need to watch our mirrors, and I think we're gonna start from the back now, so it will be interesting for sure.
John.
How difficult is it to defend against Contan? Because we saw him just doing some outrageous lines to try and get the momentum. So, do you have the same lines if you're on the attack?
I think I'm on the fastest line, yeah, because you need to squeeze up in the inside, and then you need to amputate your corner. So I saw him tried once, but then I just pulled the handbrake and parked the car in front of him. So either threw me or spin us around. So yep, it's hard on gravel, but he knows for sure what's he gonna do. So yeah, it's just wait for the right moment.
And in terms of the car, how difficult is it to drive then? Because you've mastered it very well, but it looks very tricky on those jumps.
It's funny, but the jumps is a nightmare for sure.
The jumps certainly have proven to be a nightmare. We're going to wish you the best of luck then. Kamikaze then joining us after a big victory. And I tell you what, it was very nice to see that he's got all of the sparkles. He's been racing from the void the last couple of weeks, John, and now he's got a little bit of, I would say, lighting there in play to say, look, this is my domain. This is showtime.
Yeah, this is a big opportunity to gain serious amount of points, to give him just a bit of a comfort zone to Alex Gillen, for example, in second place. Alex not fancying driving into any more gravel traps, at least not for now. Yeah, it's just very difficult to face the talent of, for example, Contan DALL'OLMO, and indeed Aerotech, getting the names mixed up there, because they're just they're so close in terms of pace. And around this track, you kind of need an advantage of pace to overtake because of the ability to block. And so, yeah, it's all going to be about that start, I think, as well.
Well, the unsafety car is on pole position for this fantastic heat that we now have of 40 minutes, and will be followed immediately by Sparks in second position. Killer Cleo will go from third with Els Indriani fourth, with El Taco Man and Love 46 fifth and sixth. B-Roy and Supreme are on the front row as well, seventh and eighth, with Strasner and Ancephalosis making up your top 10. From the second row, Aiden Pohl, Ryan L83, Brendan Hyperstar, Monkey Matt, Aerotech, Conton DALL'OLMO, and then Kamikaze, you would say the main players of the game when it comes to championship contention, are all there at the back looking to run forward as far as this field go. So they will all be gearing themselves up. We're going to double the time that they have, 40 minutes to sort it together. And if they do run into troubles, then of course that unsafety car is going to be very much looking for a way to get involved. This is about making a statement, making yourself known in the Creator Series here on iRacing. The great start, the great scramble start, readies itself up and gets itself underway. And immediately you get drivers trying to force everything almost upside down immediately there. Killer Cleo's involved, rolling his Ryan L83. Brendan Hyperstar's caught out wrong place. Aerotech's had issues. Supreme through the opening corner. More spinners with Sparks going the wrong way around. And now over to the front of the field you go. El Taco Man is in the middle, 3 wide, with B-Roy in play as well. Oh my goodness, we got upside down cars. Supreme is rolling.
We needed about 4 commentators to cover all of those shunts there, as we just saw the timing boards, and we do have a safety car deployed, or unsafety cars. Everybody's still trying to find their way to the track. That was chaos. I honestly thought when I was commentating the Monza race that would be the biggest incident of the season. We have now surpassed that, as that was utter carnage and chaos, as I think only 2 or 3 cars making it through that unscathed. Of course, the biggest winner of all of that, Contan DALL'OLMO, and quite just 2 places behind, Kamikaze as well. So they did the thing of just keeping out of the contact. And is that Ancephalosis that's stuck? No, hang on. Somebody is stuck. I think it was Ancephalosis just stuck on the inside. That's so unfortunate. As there you go, they pop back out, I think, into P9, it says at least. But yeah, a lot of problems happening, let's put it that way, and hopefully we'll be able to get some replays, as I can see Gareth going furiously through the selection of replays right now.
Well, it's a case here for Gareth, who is our producer here for today. He will have to now channel the Matrix in order to try and get through and see all of this working. El Taco Man has control. B-Roy is in second, and Crandon DALL'OLMO in a lap is up into third position. It will then be Aiden Pohl and Kamikaze fourth and fifth, with Monkey Matt then in sixth position. One car into the pits is Aiden Pohl, so this will be to get sorry, that's a penalty for Aiden Pohl then that's just gone through. Mr. Box as well, just to make it doubly difficult, goes all the way back. You're asking to be disqualified there, Aiden. You've missed your box by a country mile.
Yeah, that's such a tough one, although maybe taking on, I think the penalty's been cleared, but maybe taking on some fuel as well. They are trying to clear the penalty is what we're hearing. Although, can he find his pit box is the next question. We've seen him stop at every single one so far, so eventually it will happen. But yeah, obviously the people losing out, Aerotech, P15, they're just getting caught up in everything. Ryan also, and Supreme. I think Supreme was the one on the receiving end of the initial punt. And yeah, let's see if we can get any sense of the situation. We have to have eyes in the back of our head here, I think, to see who caused it all. But I think there was initial contact just in front of Crandon DALL'OLMO. So you can see initial contact there. Not too bad. But yeah, it's straight away. I think that's Supreme going for a spin. Car number 10. Can't really see. Oh, it was Brendan. It was Brendan Hyperstar going for a roll. And that just caused everybody to seek avoiding action. And just everybody ran into each other. So that's to get the onboard, I think.
Grass, sky, grass, sky, grass, sky, grass, sky, grass. Not great. And this is the second part. As they went through the opening corner, a major amount of damage then that brought itself into play, because they're all trying to funnel into what is effectively a one-line corner down at the opening section. You can see the amount of contact. It just continued on all the way down the hill. So let's take a look then on the far outside. So yes, you get the massive scramble of contact that runs through, and there's the roll. Ryan L83 taking a roll. You had Brendan Hyperstar taking a roll. You had likes of Killer Cleo, who was caught up in that and didn't want to be anywhere near it. This was a very tough start to racing action, and everybody is still available to continue on. But look at even that there, one of the worst rejoins I've seen in my life.
I can't believe what I've just seen there. You always wait. You know this car's coming. Yeah, Ryan just, I think, got on one of the jumps and it just spat him out left. And Brendan Hyperstar got the same thing but going right. And at that point, there's nothing you can do to avoid collision. And everybody then just in avoidance, in sympathy almost, just got involved in many contacts. And it was Aerotech that was taken out. No, it wasn't actually. Who was that? That's
Love 46.
Supreme.
Wow.
It's taking out Supreme. That is, yeah, not ideal.
No, it certainly isn't. I'm pretty sure for Ryan L83, he had Brian Clough in his ear like, now you listen here, sunshine. You don't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and look at where you are, mate. So that was definitely not gone the way that has been planned. But at least for the moment, the unsafety car still in control. And critically, it's taking time off the clock because we're time limited today and not lap limited. They've done one corner in anger here, John, and they've taken 5.5 minutes off the clock.
Look, I don't think there was a safe place to be at that start. There was only wrong places to be off of the start line, so I'm not surprised. Oh, hang on, we got a spin. B-Roy has spun behind the safety car. I can't believe that. He just, again, the same thing of just getting it sideways and panicking, hitting the brakes, and that just locks up the car and you spin all the way around. I think B-Roy will regain his, what was it, 4th place, I think it was. But that was, no, it was 2nd place, wasn't it? So that was a little bit embarrassing, but thankfully we're not under racing conditions. And yeah, that was, I think, safety car in this
Watch the unsafety car. Watch the unsafety car, because this is how you exit. Oh, it's gone straight through a pole. I think we just missed it. Wrong time. So the unsafety car has gone straight through one of the wooden poles that has got all the sponsorship up. Amazingly, the wooden pole has stayed intact because it's put down together by concrete here in iRacing. But right now, El Taco Man with control gets the jump that is needed, coming over the Polaris flyaway, and now has the race. B-Roy second, DALL'OLMO third, Kamikaze in fourth, the Monkey Matt now down into fifth position, and the chase is on through the various left and right to the Boxer Tools corner.
Yeah, indeed, I love the corner names here. Just oh, B-Roy up the inside. Here we go. El Tacoman just left a gap, and I think wow, El Tacoman found insane traction, but Contant nearly running all the way up the bank there, just saying, "Hello, I want to get a move on here. I want to create a gap." He's going to go to the outside. You can see so aggressive on the brakes, and so is Kamikaze trying to do the switchback. He has made it work on B-Roy. He's right behind Kamikaze now as they all go bumping over these jumps, which are so easy in a truck, but not in a rallycross car. Can he get the switchback? Look at the confidence that Contant has versus El Tacoman, but El Tacoman collided, just not seeing Contant, I think, in the mirrors, and that means Contant's left it wide open for Kamikaze. Yes, sorry. My apologies, yeah, just getting my words mixed up there. So many content creators with names starting with K. And was that El Tacoman in the pits?
No, this is a big crossover from El Tacoman into the side. There, he's just the man. El Tacoman into the side of Kamikaze. DALL'OLMO in control. Kamikaze goes for the low line and sweeps and takes the place away. On for fourth as well as, B-Roy now looks around at Monkey Matt, trying to find a way through and not managing that at the moment. A crazy restart then, and it's your fastest two that are immediately looking to be aggressive with each other as they now run to the cowboy hairpin. DALL'OLMO eyeing up Kamikaze.
What a setup, though, by Kamikaze there through Calamity Corner. Just got the traction, got side by side, and Contant had nowhere to go in the next corner, had to ease off the throttle, and that means that Kamikaze takes the race lead provisionally, but Contant, as you saw, wants it back, and they're creating a gap already. El Tacoman really struggling with the bumps. He's just all over the place, and you can see he's just compromising his line, basically, and that means that anybody behind him is a bit more tentative to do the overtake. There is Aerotech as well in the blue front livery. No, that isn't Aerotech, that's Monkey Matt, sorry. The livery's very similar between Aerotech and Monkey Matt this week. But yeah, very, very tricky for them to get past because El Tacoman's taking a different line to everybody else. As Contact once again, I think Contact was very close to getting by Kamikaze there. He's going to try once again for the switchback. But as Kamikaze said, all he has to do is park it on the apex handbrake and Contact can't take his preferred line.
Well, I think Contant DALL'OLMO actually lifted and let the place go with the way that the contact was initiated because he was so deep into the corner that Kamikaze couldn't drive off of the exit. So a bit of sportsmanship there between them. Getting very busy, third, fourth, fifth and sixth as well, with El Tacoman holding the weight of the world back there. B-Roy and Cephalosis now up to fifth. Monkey Matt in sixth position. They're all there and figuring out what they can do with half an hour. There's a huge shot to the back by B-Roy, who's just getting a little impatient in terms of trying to find a way through. You can move drivers through the corner and find a way to get the pass done. It's one of those series where you can. B-Roy again looking to the inside, but very, very shallow through the line. And Cephalosis to the inside, looking again for drive then through Ponce turn 2 and gets the crossover needed to say that's P4.
Oh, that was an impressive move, just very clean. B-Roy, I think, just the switchback El Tacoman on the right place at the right time to avoid that. They've come to blows once again, and B-Roy goes all the way round this time. The second contact through that corner. Oh no, third contact! You never rejoin like that, and I think he's just going to be a little bit panicked there, selecting reverse. That is the sensible thing to do, as Contant is putting the foot down at the moment, but disaster through the Polaris, sorry. My words today getting mixed up. Polaris Gravel Pit. I love the name of that turn. But yeah, just so unfortunate for them to just be at the wrong place, wrong time. As Contact still in the background.
Killer Cleo and trying to battle with Aerotech, who's trying to run through the pack, and Aerotech gets the way through. B-Roy saying, I was trying to turn, it wouldn't turn. Aerotech was immediately on the radio. That's the rules of engagement, my friend. It is as simple as that as you go through. So this, a huge calamity. Look at the way it starts. 1, 2, 3. Aerotech then caught wrong place and then effectively gets ceremoniously dumped by Love 46, who Love 46 has just gone around actually at turn 10 with a bit of contact and planted the car in the trees.
Not ideal, that's for sure, and especially seeing as Aerotech has great pace in this race, to be fair. And let's have a look once again. So just just get spun, and then you've got to try and rejoin into the trees. Quite literally, the car phasing through, thankfully, through the trees, to be honest, and then just struggling to get that first gear selected to get back up to speed. But yeah, that is very, very unfortunate, as we still have this battle at the front. Content still trying to find a way past, and Kamikaze at the moment doing all that it takes to maintain him at bay. This must be frustrating at this point.
Well, if you want a way to go and make this work, DALL'OLMO, you can see right now, is trying to look left, right, up, down, sideways, even slantways. The Great Glass Elevator couldn't find an overtake past Kamikaze. DALL'OLMO is trying to do exactly the same out there, and you get a real sense of the way he's having to work, trying to get that rotation of the wheel as he lands so that he can get away through the corner. It's very tough in terms of the way that he drives. It's almost predictive driving. It's very tough to do, and it's very unique to this style of racing to say, well, I'm just going to turn the wheels and hope that it's going to grip in the way that I want it to off of the corner. Now here comes a chance over the Polaris flyaway jump, and around the outside of Calamity Corner drives DALL'OLMO, well covered.
Yeah, I think it's just got to be the case now, as Content hit the inside wall there actually for a little bit. So yeah, he's trying to find a different line, and I think that's what you got to do at this point. Kamikaze is holding the same line, just forcing Content to lift off effectively. And the problem is that now you need to find a different way to overtake, something to catch him off guard, to make him either make a mistake. Ancephalos up the inside of El Tacoman, but El Tacoman just committed to the corner. Quite frankly, Ancephalos was very good driving there to just recognize the situation, lift off, and go again on another turn. El Tacoman really getting confident, but I think perhaps might leave himself... Monkey Mat missing the braking zone there and completely trying to go maybe higher up on the banking to get a better shot off of the turn, but it didn't really work out for him.
Now, Monkey Mat's got a very unfair advantage, John. He's from New Zealand and half the roads are gravel.
Okay, yeah, that's a very good point. True. He's also got very good experience in WRC Esports.
He's just got through.
Yeah, he has indeed just got through, indeed. So up to P4 as we see the battle between Aiden Pohl and I think that is Strassener.
Oh no, Monkey Mat's got around! Look on the right-hand side, Monkey Mat, there he is! Oh, there he goes!
Yeah, just off of our camera, so just on the side of the cameras while we were watching that. Oh, Aerotech also just steaming up the inside, saying, hello, you're going slow, I need that position. Look at the overspeed that you get if you get it right, though. Yeah, so unfortunately for Monkey Mat, let's have a look. So with Ancephalos here, oh, it's just a classic tag, and around you go. Can't do anything. Passenger at that point gets first selected very quickly, though, and around he goes, just waiting for that gap, and then you see Aerotech saying, hello, sunshine.
Yep, straight on through. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 there. That was a case of finding the Crandon taxman in terms of an incident out there, because it always finds a way to make itself known. Now, El Tacoman is third. Ancephalos is fourth. Brendan Hyperstar now up to fifth place. And DALL'OLMO here through Ponce turn 2 again is trying to set up this run. The big place to attack is the gravel pit. And now on lap 10, in comes 1, in comes 2. Make sure you get it slowed down on the line, because it's just a 30-mile-an-hour pit lane.
Yeah, that is very, very slow, and indeed getting the car stopped is a problem, so there's a very good chance that you'll miss your pit box as well. But yeah, around this time, about, again, 10 minutes of clean air racing, or indeed flat-out racing, so they will be running on empty or near enough at this point, as I think Aerotech is trying to just make up some time. I mean, maybe a podium still on here. I mean, he's got definitely the time to do it, but he just needs to keep it clean and not lose any time. As just, you know, Strasner, I think just a little bit less confident. You can see that in the lines, trying to take the normal racing line. And you can see now also that there's a line beginning to form where the grip might be more optimal as Aerotech just goes into the wall there a little bit. But ironically, that allows him to get almighty drive out of the corner. I think we'll see him pass here, or an attempt at a pass.
El Taco Man's been caught speeding in the lane and so has a penalty to the name, and trying to get around Strasner is always very difficult, especially when you've got 1,000 eyes staring at you with that livery at the moment. And tell you what, Aerotech will be staring back, looking to go around the outside to try and get this working. Oh, that's glorious. Round the outside of Potawatomi. Turn 1 there, the Forest County corner, if ever there was one. Easy for Aerotech, but now it's about pit. And Cephalosis now will dive for the pit lane, but Aiden Pohl will stay out, and so too, I believe, will Brendan Hyperstar. They've been able to save fuel. They're on their 12th lap of racing. They've done so well under the safety car.
Yeah, I think they already pitted under the first safety car. So, yeah, you've got the fuel in the car to do those extra 2 laps. And that will be a big sort of advantage if we do get another safety car. Hopefully, yeah, with a lot of problems coming. Sorry, I'm not hearing Gareth correctly. He's trying to take...
So that's on the right-hand side of your tower. That's
yes.
your stint length that everyone's managed to do. So Brendan Hyperstar, Aerotech, and Strasner, they've gone from the drop of the green flag. They've not pitted.
Yeah, so so the top 4 not pitted, and indeed Zupreme as well. I would have thought Zupreme would have gone into the pits after the incident on lap 1, but there you go, that happened. It's a bit of a mix-up in terms of strategy, I think, at the moment, because, of course, there is the possibility for another safety car to come out at some point. So it's just going to be, are you in the right place at the right time? Because at the moment, for the people that have already pitted, I'd say they're a bit of a disadvantage, but that could easily turn around at the moment.
Oh, it can, and it can do on a dime. So keep yourself calm, because there are always going to be opportunities available. And you can see there, Brendan Hyperstar, 13th lap to go, and that Sparks just coming out of the pits then. So able to work the lap down at that point, knowing that Aiden Pohl is there. Aerotech is also watching on right now. Supreme has taken to the pits, and now finds himself in with a drop of places. Strasner down in the pit, sorry, at this point. So Kamikaze and DALL'OLMO trying to give that chase. So everywhere you go, there are drivers looking to build that advantage. And this is a case of 2 drive. It's almost like watching Togue drifting at the moment, the way that these 2 are going about the circuit, John.
It's lovely. It's lovely, isn't it? I mean, I just love off-road racing. I love circuit racing as well, but this is where I started in my sort of racing online career. And Rallycross and indeed off-road racing with jumps is one of those wacky things where the optimal line doesn't really exist. You can make a high line work, you can make the racing line work, you can make a tight cornering line work to overtake someone as well. And so often you find cars just drifting side by side with each other, trying to psych each other out as, it's that B-Roy, I think, getting in a little bit of a bad shape there. But you've just got to remain focused, try and put the other person under pressure, and see where they make a mistake in their line and go for it. The problem is that if you hesitate, sometimes those opportunities can last 0.5 of a second here before you have to commit to a line because of the low grip. And as you can see, Contam recognizing that Kamikaze was in a little bit deep there and he had to pull the handbrake. He thought he could get the switch back, and now Kamikaze has hit the wall. So this will give a huge opportunity. Somehow, Contam has not been able to profit from that. Kamikaze has got just incredibly lucky right there, but the battle continues.
It goes to show you how aggressive you've got to be with each and every single line. It is not a case of easy as it goes, with Brendan Hyperstar out there in front, Aiden Pohl in second, Aerotech in third. I think they're trying to run in such a way with a little bit of fuel save that they can commit to a one-stop race here without any unsafety cars being put into play. Brendan Hyperstar jumping well over then at 65 miles an hour and making it work. It's getting busy behind at the moment as they now start changing about for 4th and 5th. And now it's going to be a case of I will continue to go again for another run around then, for another lap. Pass made then, Kamikaze loses out to Crandon DALL'OLMO as they are still second and third. Nose to tail past Killer Cleo, who goes a lap down, she does. So now the quick two bring themselves into play. This is a replay of the pass. It's through Ponce turn 2, and look at the setup out of the Potawatomi turn 1. This is what you need. If you're out wide, you've got to try and do something to get back, and that's the key. Tried a crossover, didn't work.
Yeah, just that supreme speed. I think he just carried more speed into it and basically forced Kamikaze to try and do the switchback. You know, you've got the inside line and there's not much you can do about it. Aerotech now trying to do the overtake into Cowboy. Hairpin, can he get it done? I think Aerotech's just struggling a little bit to pass people today. Maybe more used to the trucks in terms of the grip. But Aiden Pohl doing a fantastic job also. And I think they're just trying to go long and hope for a safety car here from these 4 out in front. Although I think no, Supreme is still there as well. So yeah, it's just a mix-up of the strategies, as I said previously, and you've just got to try and stay as calm as possible. As Kamikaze, you can see, struggling to catch Crandon. It's one thing to allow Crandon to pass, but you've got to try and remain on his gearbox. No way, I thought he was going for it then. I was just pausing the commentary because I thought he was going to apply the power and just maybe use the side of Crandon to get around. But I think it's also a case of pressure. Kamikaze has been under pressure from Crandon for a number of laps now, and I think he just wants off a little bit of the constant cooker and pressure cooker, and so Crandon now has that job of creating a path through the front 3.
Yeah, they are going a second a lap quicker at this moment in time than the group in front. So it is really telling. 19.5s and 19.6s from the front group. The group there of DALL'OLMO and Kamikaze doing 118s at this point. So there is certainly an element that pace is at play at this moment in time. With just 16.5 minutes left to run, it's now about who can outlast and get themselves over to the end of this race. This is a tough battle that they have, and this is going to be, in every single stage, the most intensive race per time that you have out there, because quite simply put, the amount of wheel work that has to be done, the amount that you have to grip the steering wheel through the corners, the force feedback that comes in underneath through it, simply put, it's the toughest race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you think about it, if you've driven an online or simulator at all, even at just a test venue or something like that, if you've hit a wall, which, you know, most of us have done, me admittedly a lot more than other people, but when you hit the wall or something, the wheel jolts a lot. Now, that effect will be the same as landing on every single jump. Now, consider that they have been driving now for over 40 minutes in both races combined, and that means that every single lap they're taking at least 4 or 5 big jolts to the force feedback. It's an intensive struggle, and it's one where if you're not prepared for it also, it can throw you off course and offline, and I think we're starting to see the drivers struggle now with that. The car of Crandon DALL'OLMO just in their mirrors. They know exactly what's up. They know what's about to happen. And for Aiden Pohl, he can defend all he likes. Crandon has the pace right now as Brendan Hyperstar still leads. Will they come into the pit this lap? Will we see a potential coming together because of pit lane in? It's not impossible where the pit lane is just after this jump. So will we see anybody dive in? No, they still carry on. This is incredible.
Yeah, some wonderful work. Aiden Pohl switching up. Then after losing the position last lap, trying to pinch Crandon DALL'OLMO, who holds it over the flyaway jump, the Polaris flyaway jump. And Aiden Pohl tries to come straight back. There's contact in the corner, and they hold DALL'OLMO up into third and really had to work for it. Now, Love 46 is in the middle of this now. A lap down as Aerotech finds a way through. DALL'OLMO's got to go, and Kamikaze isn't finding this easy to try and get through here. Aiden Pohl's doing everything correct in terms of positioning, so this is a really critical phase of this race, where the drivers here, the top two, are starting to get split up. Love 46, nothing you can do against DALL'OLMO there. The lunge around the outside now behind by Kamikaze to get the run for the inside of the Forest County. Potawatomi turn 1 is there, and look at them, mirror to mirror, contact as they enter the corner, and a wonderful block blast there by Kamikaze.
I tell you what, Aerotech is being held up by car 53. I think that's a lap down car, so that's really unfortunate for Contan. And I must say, Contan's Rallycross experience must be coming into play here to try and get the moves done. And as we see, I think this is just an attempt to let both of them get away with it. But Kamikaze could have been... No, the car will now block Kamikaze in the same way. I just think it's... that's Love 46, by the way. Thank you to Gareth for just putting their name on screen. They're allowed to do that, to be fair. There's no rule that says that you have to allow a car pass.
Oh,
and I think that is Aiden Pohl going for a spin as well, unfortunately. Just a bit of contact.
More than a spin. He's going to do Calamity Corner again.
That's
He's
not ideal.
off. He's taken Calamity Corner twice in the same lap.
Hang on a minute. That's given him an additional lap. I've just noticed.
He's winning!
He's winning! Call it now. Call the race now. So what has happened here? He's had a little bit of an impact. He's crossed the start-finish line right there, right? And now he's gone out of bounds, and it's registered him for another lap. So he's just gained the lead.
And he's had his penalty cleared! Genius! Pure genius from Aiden Pohl. Nobody expected that. And sometimes you need a bit of ingenuity to get ahead.
This is about 10D chess at this point. I've never seen anything like it. Will anybody cotton on to what's just happened? Because that is really something I've never seen in racing before. Technically, it's possible, and a safety car will possibly be maybe deployed to rectify that. We're waiting on confirmation, but an interesting thing happening right now. I think the probability of that happening is millions to one, right?
50-50, either it would or it wouldn't.
To be fair, yeah, with the way the timing works, that's for sure. But now Brendan Hyperstar's got a problem because he's got a gap of 50 seconds to close. Can Contan close 50 seconds in 11 minutes? Now that's a challenge for Contan and Kamikaze.
Yeah, they've got a lot to do here. Brendan Hyperstar is there in position. And you got Conton DALL'OLMO there also trying to get through. So the big three, Aerotech, Conton DALL'OLMO, and Kamikaze, third, fourth, and fifth, trying to get themselves into position. Supreme, by the way, in 6th position. Ancephalosis 7th, Monkey Matt in 8th, are all now down a lap because of what happened there with Aiden Pohl, which is a very interesting point of order that has to be thrown. 11 minutes to go, and the chase is still there with DALL'OLMO trying everything possible to move on up into 3rd against Aerotech here, but Aerotech has got a bit of legs. They are catching Brendan Hyperstar, though, who, get this, still is going, so clearly has worked something out to be low drive. Maybe he's got a car that's running on eco-fuel.
Yeah, indeed. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe hybrid boost in there somewhere. I find that really impressive as Aiden Pohl is in the pit. I think this is maybe to rectify the situation. I'm not sure. Could also just be a genuine pit stop. But yeah, pit stop time 4.4 seconds. So I think that's just taking fuel on board. So yeah, again, the situation, sometimes, you just get a bit lucky like that. But I honestly can say that is Creator Series in a nutshell. You can never know what to expect. You never know what can happen. And still, Contan struggling to get past Aerotech and indeed Brendan Hyperstar. They might be an overtake here, as they're definitely Aerotech faster than Brendan Hyperstar. It's just taken a couple of laps. Look at the angle they're sending on the jumps now. Oh, that was an avoidance, wasn't it, from Kamikaze?
That was Els Indriani there, who is 2 laps down. And Kamikaze, I think, just breathed a sigh of relief there around the outside. Inside line thrown then by Aerotech. Then Brendan Hyperstar holds around the outside then and keeps the pace, jumping over the Polaris flyaway. And now with DALL'OLMO trying to find a way through, they now have changed the lead. So it looks like Aiden Pohl then has been parked to say get yourself back into position and now bring yourself back into lane. So that is going to be a key then. With just 9 minutes 8 seconds then left to go, you start thinking about where do you want to be. This is now for the race lead. Brendan Hyperstar holding off then as far as possible with Aerotech there. DALL'OLMO tries to go to the outside, takes a big line over the cushion that has formed up on the top side of the circuit of the Cowboy Hairpin and back over again towards the Forest County Potawatomi turn 1. And for the moment, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 is trying to hold on behind at a second and a half. Big power move comes in then from DALL'OLMO, who gets again nice and square through the middle of the Ponza turn 2, and that has been the key corner to getting this race sorted for him. A big throw in towards this next section. Aerotech is nice and narrow and again looks to try and pick up this run. Now leaves the door open here for DALL'OLMO, who can throw it down the inside. They all fan out and DALL'OLMO might get 1, might get 2, might leave the door open. Aerotech with a big drive off of the exit, makes contact and says, I'm going to bully my way forward. DALL'OLMO drops about a half a second, and now they'll have to get by B-Roy right now as their next charge. Aerotech with a block pass to try and throw the lead. Brendan Hyperstar back to the point then, switches on back with some wonderful action here, John. They are dicing for the race lead.
Impressive stuff as all. Again, Elton drowning. No, there's been contact. That is unfortunate.
That's B-Roy.
That B-Roy, sorry, yeah. I did notice the green line there. So tricky for them to just stay out of the action. They were just taking their racing line. And here comes contact up the inside. Aerotech's going to have to defend with the overspeed. He certainly does. This is where it gets dicey because they've been studying their lines as Brendan Hyperstar goes wide. He's going to have to brake, and that means Brendan Hyperstar has dropped 3 positions in one corner as contact DALL'OLMO goes all the way up the inside. Aerotech can't do anything about it. And indeed, a safety car has been called for the incident, I presume, with B-Roy there.
And just like that, Conton DALL'OLMO, I think, got the pass just as the safety car was called. So that was 7 minutes to go, completely throws the race in a change. That is a big moment as far as it goes. Everybody finds themselves back into line. Aiden Pohl, by the way, is in 8th place after all of that, so made the pit stop and had that big hold and came back out in 8th place, but the field will bunch up. DALL'OLMO then in control, Aerotech 2nd, Kamikaze is 3rd, and Brendan Hyperstar could have been in control heading to the safety car. He's 4th.
So unfortunate, so unfortunate. There is the safety car. Just such a dinky little machine, isn't it? You know, it makes the Beetle look very, very big, and that is one of the smallest cars that I think we have in iRacing. So apart from the open wheelers, of course. So yeah, it's one of those things, I think, that just Brendan pushing the limits. He knew he was under pressure, and that just means that the smallest mistake turns into a calamity. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but
Only turn
it's still
6.
he's still in P4. It was at turn 6 they had the problem, but just very, very tricky for him. But good news is safety car deployed so he can bunch back up and cool down, let's say.
Well, the B-Roy issue was at turn 10 by the looks of it. But as we say, if anyone does run into calamity, that is turn 6 out there on track. Yeah. So that is the way that it goes as everyone tries to scramble and get laps back. We'll take a little look here at how they go. Look at this. So backwards into the corner, then takes the hit and goes around, and that looked like pretty much an EMP blast there as far as it went going through the middle of that corner. There's no way that thing had drive off the exit.
Yeah, I think this was just going deep, bounce. I think what happens is he bounces and just doesn't get the grip. And so once you're out onto that unclean gravel, you just have no grip whatsoever. You're still trying to fight the car. And he's lucky that he got back over the bank unscathed, really. But that just shows to you how technical it is on those jumps, and how if you put a foot wrong, it's an instant big problem rather than a small issue. I think we'll get her on board. Look how big the bounce was. Just the front end no longer in contact with the ground. You have no grip, no turning ability, and that is how the cookie crumbles sometimes. But yeah, for B-Roy as well, a very unfortunate incident. He was just taking his own line, and I don't think anybody expected him to just go down the track, you know, to like stop on the apex and go down, which is a legitimate line. But yeah, just the battle caught him up effectively in the wrong place.
Love 46 trying to join the back of the train has gone off on the exit of turn 1 to start turn 2. So a big incident into the barriers there, but it is about a very, very slow unsafety car trying to get everyone back into line. We'll take a look then through the Potawatomi turn 1 out there and gets a good drive she does through here, and we've got a car that's dived for the pits behind and then just gets completely out of control through the middle. So easily done. It's Ancephalosis who's in the pits.
Yeah, so Ancephalosis just not being able to go to the end on fuel, I presume. But yeah, such an unfortunate incident. It didn't really cost her anything, but it's a thing that we saw commonly actually in any sort of the WRC rounds that we've run before, or indeed in any of the iRacing off-road series, is that if you land and you have your steer, you already have the momentum of the car going one way. So if you try and correct and you steer too much in the opposite direction, it creates like a whiplash effect. And there's nothing you can do about it. If you have your steering cranked too much, as soon as those wheels hit the ground, it's like in cars where he just steers in a direction, goes whoosh off in that direction instantaneously. By the time you understand what has happened, the car is spinning around. There's not much you can do about it. And that is so common. It's just, I'd say, an experience thing, something that you only experience once or twice before deciding to not do it ever again, because it's so annoying to have happen to you, put it that way.
Well, now leader will control pace here, says Nick Packin, who is in control of the unsafety car. For this, I want to actually look at the unsafety car and the way that the unsafety car does in fact decide to leave the circuit, because it is a very unique trait. And look at that. This is Dukes of Hazzard stuff. Then in through turn 2, somehow keeps it pointed through, but the best way it goes is here around the gravel pit. This is the way to leave the circuit and do so with as much drive as possible. This time gets it a little bit out of shape, but look, I'm gone, I'm out the way, and through the pits, and oh yeah, I'm parked. So DALL'OLMO now with control can now say it's mine to control for the final minute and 45 seconds of this race. This will come right down to the wire, and everybody knows that it is over. The Polaris flyaway jump that we get back to racing action. Green flag drops, and we are underway again, and DALL'OLMO got a good 2 to 3 car length advantage.
And ironically, the top 3 once again, Crandon, Aerotech and Kamikaze, will see them go at it once again. And now Aerotech has so much experience as well that he might just try and chuck one up the inside. Although, looks like he's on a bit of a back foot here with Kamikaze just wanting to get past. He's offline as well. He's going to have to take a compromise one. Kamikaze goes wide to do the switchback. He needs to get the traction. He has got the traction. It will be side by side up to Cowboy Hairpin. But look at the gap that Crandon has already. That's 5 car lengths. That puts him not in danger anymore of getting effectively dive bombed, and Kamikaze just trying it, but it won't happen. Crandon will now be able to take the optimal racing line. Meanwhile, in the midfield, that's I think Monkey Matt and Aiden Pohl going for El Tacoman going for contact there, and El Tacoman's had to take the start once again. Not the optimal line, but at least he's got going again, and Strassner will battle as well with Monkey Matt, both of them going wide, but Strassner getting the position. They'll have to go defensive, nobody getting the jumps wrong, but look at all of that momentum. It makes a difference.
It certainly does, and we're under 30 seconds left in this race. It's going to be close to be whether we get one more lap or not. 20 seconds here. Crandon DALL'OLMO picking up a big margin now. Kamikaze into second. 13 seconds. I think we're going one more round, boys and girls. Yes, we are. 10, 9, 8. There'll be one more lap's worth of racing with 5 seconds on the clock remaining, so you've still got more to get them. Strassner battling Monkey Matt, and Ryan L83 with the penalty cleared now for the way he tried to unlap himself. But as they go about this, It is about Kamikaze in second. And look at that gap of about 7 to 8, even 10 car lengths at the moment. It's almost impossible to try and stop that. We just saw there in the back of shot Ryan L83 side by side with Monkey Matt. Big lunge down low on the low side, and the drive off the exit now gives Aerotech a great launch, and we just cut away at the wrong moment now as we now look towards Potawatomi turn 1, and now Aerotech tries to hang the wide line into play. Kamikaze, they will bump over the first jump. They will look for angle over the second. It's a little deep here by Aerotech. Kamikaze tries to sneak underneath, gives him a tap for a bit of comfort, and has the inside for the gravel pit, the Polaris gravel pit. DALL'OLMO in total command here in this full race. And you know what happens now? It's about drive. It was much deeper into the corner there by Aerotech, but it's not going to get enough as they now start to figure it out. Just Calamity Corner remains. Crandon DALL'OLMO proves he's pro, wins here in the Creator Series. Kamikaze is second, and Aerotech can only get third. A sneak at the final corner. Oh, that's cheeky right now. He's gone over. He's gone over. He's upside down. Has he crossed the line? No, he's over the line, but a transponder's in the middle of the car.
I can't believe it. I'm not sure. He hasn't crossed the line. He has not crossed the line. He sat there literally a meter from the line, and the car is effectively across the line, but not. And he's going to have to either go back to pits. I don't think he's even going to finish the race whatsoever, unless somebody can push him across the line on the in-lap or something. Maybe Aiden Pohl can go round or something and just give him a little bit of a tap. But what a disaster for Ryan, who was battling with Monkey Matt and Strassner there.
Yeah. And Supreme on the last lap buried it in the barrier at turn 2. And Sparks as well is going to be classified, I believe, as a finisher too. So that then sorts that out. So as it went, there was a huge amount of drama to finish off this race. So we've got to see what happened to Supreme as well, coming over the line, or coming to turn 2, because Supreme has effectively rendered the steel girders over at turn 2 nigh on impossible to deal with.
Yeah, something's happened with Ryan's transponder. See, I think that's an erroneous thing. Jumps up to P2, which is an interesting one. It has reported that he's crossed the line, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Maybe, I think, yeah, he's been able to get forward somehow. Somebody might have pushed him across the line, I think. But, yeah, good on them if they did. As we have Killer Cleo coming up to the line there, I think. Okay, so we have a replay here. Oh, this that's not ideal for Supreme, and got stuck. No way. Oh, in view of all of the spectators as well on this track. And there's nothing you can do. I think all 4 wheels are off the ground there.
Well, look, he is pretty much wedged in there with that steel girder, and there's not much you can do. But as far as it goes, they are all now getting their 11Zs out then and saying, right, I want to have a little bit of biffo with who and who. But race is confirmed and finished as they all have a bit of fun and try and wreck their VW Beetles the best they can. And the result then is as follows. Crandon DALL'OLMO then 41 minutes 12 seconds wins by 2.4 over Kamikaze, with third place belonging to Aerotech, keeping championship hopes alive. Brendan Hyperstar will finish off in 4th ahead of Strassner in 5th. Monkey Matt will take 6th place ahead of Love 46 in 7th on her first start of the season. Great result for Love 46, with Ancephalosis in 8th and El Taco Man, or Just a Man, in 9th place. You got Aiden Pohl, who could have gained the system but only manages a top 10 for the trouble. Sparks will be 11th on the last finisher on the lead lap. Supreme, by the way, who was ahead of Ryan L83 at the penultimate lap, will finish ahead of Ryan L83, despite the fact that Ryan L83 had a nose over the line but didn't count because the transponder didn't count it. Killer Cleo will be 14th, along with Els Indriani, and a retiree is B-Roy with the safety car done and dusted then for duties here today in this summer shake-up. Well, John, I think it's proven today Crandon has been a very difficult challenge for many drivers, but I will leave you with the first opportunity to chat to your winner here of Creator Series, Crandon, and that is Crandon DALL'OLMO.
Yeah, I mean, Contan first start, that was a difficult race for you, having to overtake, and both of them, I think, very tricky circumstances, especially with that safety car coming out, making it difficult for you. So, how was the racing for you, and how did you tackle it to eventually win it?
Yes, yeah, well, this race was so much fun. But yeah, in terms of strategy, I was really bad. In the heat, I didn't have the microphone on for the call of the safety car, so I missed the opportunity to have a free stop. So I had to fight back, but yeah, it was a really good restart. And yeah, after for the future, I think I don't know what happened. When I was out of the pit, I was like, oh the hell, I am so far behind. But yeah, after all, they just pit, I think, after the first lap. So this is why we lost so many time. But yeah, so that was really fun because we have some big battles, and that was really cool.
I want to ask as well. Sorry, Jake. Just wanted to ask as a follow-up, because along the same lines, do you think that your Rallycross expertise helped you in this one, or was it so different?
Rallycross expertise helped, of course, but it was mainly the pro track experience, I think, because I know the track very well from my eSport championship a few years ago. So I knew the track. And I knew where I could overtake, where I could brake later. So yeah, I think that's helped me, of course, for this one. But yeah, at the end, it's really different. The car don't have a lot of horsepower, so it's quite tricky. But yeah, it was really good to overtake. We had some great action. I think it was good to see on the broadcast. Well, I hope at least. But yeah, well, from the driver, it was really fun.
Conton, the move of the race was right before that unsafety car came out with about 6 minutes to go. You and Aero and Brendan and Kamikaze, who was behind you, all there together, all fighting for that lead. Just talk us through the move that got you to the race lead.
Yeah, the timing was perfect. when I heard the safety car, I was like, oh, the timing was so good for me this time. But yeah, I can't remember if it was on the outside, I don't know, but yeah, it was really cool and really close also. We were like three car, I think. So yeah, it was really close, but the good things was that it was really clean. So we had some great and clean battles. So yeah, it was really good.
So locked in, he didn't know which way he made the pass. But Conton, racing like this in a series like this, does it give you the itch to get into content creation and to more full-time run in the creator series?
Yeah, of course, I want, but for this first season, it's going to be complicated with the date. I might be present for the next Rallycross Pro Truck event, but sadly there is no more date for this season. But I hope for the season 2, if we have a season 2, that I could be present for the whole season, of course.
Well,
what a coincidence, Jake. What a coincidence. He's only available for the dirt and off-road stuff. Huh?
No, I want to do the Toyota round, but it was full and they didn't have a slot for me.
Well, sometimes that's the way a cookie crumbles, but it ultimately is a very tasty cookie today for Conton DALL'OLMO, who picks up the victory here today from the Crandon International Raceway. Second position belonged to Kamikaze, who we talked to earlier from winning the heat. It looks like there is a lot of lights behind you, Kamikaze, for this one, but you had to work hard for that second.
Yeah, I had to. Me and Conta, we discussed a little bit, and we didn't know why we ended up so far behind after I did our pit stops, but we discussed a little bit, and we figured out the guys who pitted on lap 1 in the first safety car, they took race fuel or full fuel. So yeah, we had to cooperate a little bit to catch up, but yeah. So we fight from the 3rd to 4th lap track or something, or lap or something. But it was fun. I hope it will be a good content for this round.
It certainly looked difficult. Sorry, Jake. No, carry on.
No, it's absolutely fine. It definitely looked like, in terms of how you were going through the mid phase of the race, you had enough pace to stay with Conton DALL'OLMO, but then the traffic started to play a factor, and trying to maneuver around traffic on the dirt possibly is the toughest challenge in the world.
Send it.
It's a simple strategy.
Yeah.
So you certainly tried.
I tried. I think I sent it over jumps, outside, everything. I think I passed the car in the air as well on the big jump. So yeah, that was fun.
So, seeing as Jake took the question I wanted to ask, I'll follow up on that and say, if you had to pinpoint one particular point of the race which you enjoyed the most, what would it be?
Door to door with Conta.
Fair enough. Pretty simple.
Yeah, but he is
the
he
entire
is one
race,
of the best.
right?
Yeah, he is the one of the best. So, and Eurotech as well. When we had our contact for last lap, and I stole the engine at the hairpin. Oh, that was fun. Oh, yeah, fun.
Critically, championship lead increases for you, and we move to a 3-car track combo. How are you feeling about the FF 1600s at Lime Rock?
Yeah, open wheeler with no fenders. No, not my big favorites. Small track as well. So, yeah, it's easy to flip the cars there. They are, yeah, like they are making babies if you hit each other. So yeah, not good. It will be fun though.
Well, we will hope that it won't be a case of you ending up in a nursery, Kamikaze. Let's just leave it at that. Joining us and picking up a 2nd place finish today, but critically increasing championship lead over a driver like Aerotech, for example, who is 3rd position overall. Aero, that is what we call a job well done.
Yeah, man, I knew everyone's been hyping up like, oh, you're gonna win. I'm like, okay, Kami is like, he's eats, sleeps, breathes, and poops these cars. He knows the cars. I may know the track, but he can learn that. And then as soon as I heard DALL'OLMO was showing up, I know his history, especially since he's our Crandon champion for our Super Session last year. And I went, oh no, this is going to be really tough. And even in qualifying, I was like 6/10 off the pace. I went, cool, I'll just try to shoot for 3rd. Aiden Pohl had a lot of speed today too. So it wasn't easy. The first race was kind of just set it and forget it, but the second race, it seems like if there was some sort of calamity, I was right there every time. Like, I got screwed on the start, I got screwed again. I kept getting caught up in other people's incidents, so I thought I'd be like 10th if I was lucky, and was not angry, you know what I mean? Because the race is just for fun. I was like, oh, I'm bummed. Like, I could have raced for 5th or whatever, and then pits happen, and all of a sudden I'm 5th, and Hyperstar is in front of me, and I'm gaining. I'm like, okay, cool. I just could have put the visor down and see what I could do. So, and then obviously me Crandon side by side for the lead when that safety car came out. That was kind of a bummer, but I think he was going to get me anyway. And then I was just telling them, like, I am like, this is what I do. This is my main discipline. But those two are like a step above me. So even to be dooring them and switchbacking with them and whatever was super cool. That made my day. I couldn't have asked for a better result.
And I guess with the messages that we had in the Discord, with all of the telemetry bouncing back and forth, at what point did you think, I need to start studying that data to see where they're getting the edge on me?
Actually, I had to just trust what I knew. Crandon, especially short course racing, there's many ways, especially on iRacing too, there's many different lines on the dirt. It's not like a circuit where there is like little changes you could make in a corner, but basically, like, if it's a late apex, it's a late apex. So I just last night saw that Kami was running some different lines, and I tried it, and I was inconsistent. So today I went, you know what? If I'm a couple tenths slower, that's fine. At least I know I can do this every lap. And it paid off. And I mean, I'm glad people were looking too, because I know a lot of people have never done dirt on iRacing before, and this is a really, really tough combo for somebody to get started, especially because these cars are just not made to race here. We wanted to try to give people as many tools and opportunities as possible to kind of learn and at least get comfortable, to where they'd have a fun day and want to do this again.
You certainly gave yourself a great opportunity over the middle of that race. I just want to talk about an incident that happened earlier on. What was your reaction to the fact that Aiden Pohl decided he wanted to cheat the system and gain a lap on everyone?
I had no idea what happened there. I have to go watch the replay. I heard him call it on the radio like, so I'm a lap ahead. Like, to his credit. Like, I didn't even notice. I was chasing down Brandon, and then I heard him say that. I went, wait. Yeah, he is. I don't even know how that happened, but he also lifted, like, the nicest guy in the world. He went wide a little bit in the in the last corner, kind of understeered and let me go. So whatever he did, I kind of owe him a like. Aiden did nothing wrong. Free my boy, Aiden. Yeah, I don't know. I have to go back and watch that in replay because I heard that, but I didn't see what he did.
I believe, in terms of what we can relay to you, he took Calamity Corner twice.
Ah, yeah, I just went back and watched it. He did the, someone did this in NASCAR. Was it like Tyler Reddick that did this in NASCAR at Sonoma that blew a tire? There's somebody, just go to the pit lane in NASCAR. I was like, yeah, you can't necessarily do that. I see where his head was at there, but yeah, no, I think again, at least he was honest about it because none of us were paying attention. So that could have been weird at the end, but that's good on him for at least calling it. And I think he gave himself a penalty to kind of even it all back out.
So if you could, as maybe a last question from me, if you could drive either the Beetle or the unsafety car in this one, which one do you think would have been the best? Because the unsafety car had a few issues during the race as well.
Man, those dirt legends. You're going to see this with Legend across the licenses when we get there. But on the Rallycross, like the proper mixed surface Rallycross courses, they're a handful, but they're really fun to drive. I would imagine with the jumps here and the landings, and especially because we don't have a setup that's built for it, so it's just low to the ground, meant to be dirt oval. It looked like he was having a great time up there, and maybe the word "great" in like italics with quotation marks next to it. But it was really tricky to learn this Beetle this week. I'm obviously used to the Pro 4 truck around here, which, as it turns out, some translates, but not a lot. But it ended up being a lot of fun. It was a really, really fun combination.
Well, in terms of one fun combination to maybe more of a bullring style of combination that comes up next, FF1600's Lime Rock Park. It's one of those combinations where you need to be tactful to make the overtakes. Do you believe that you've got a lot of tact, Aero?
I think I'm not fast compared to a lot of the people who race here. Obviously, there was a weenie convention today, and a lot of people didn't show up, but that's neither here nor there. But a lot of people are really, really competent in open wheel racing, that race in Creator Series. So I think it's going to really even the playing field. Obviously, it's not your traditional open wheel car. There's no downforce. It's super slidey. But Lime Rock's a track that, regardless of whether you're a rookie in iRacing or been on the service for 10 years, you're really, really familiar with. So it's going to be close racing. But I think I'm not faster than these guys, but I think I make good decisions in the moment. Whether that remains to be seen when we go wheel to wheel next week, but it should be a really, really solid combo, and I think it's going to be a lot of close fun racing.
Well, to quote John Cena on the back of your wall, are you sure about that?
Who?
Exactly.
I don't see anybody.
Lovely. Aerotech there joining us, picking up 3rd position overall and looking for an all-important charge then to move on forward. John, Crandon has proven to be a very difficult challenge, but one that has been full of surprises. We've had everything up and down, great battling, big passes being thrown, even someone trying to game the system. But your final thoughts as we leave here and head to Lime Rock Park?
Well, I knew it was going to be chaotic, but I didn't expect people literally parked on the finish line. That wasn't in my bingo card. So I think we've had all and more than we could expect. And I'm sure with the open wheelers, it won't be chaos at all. I'm sure Kamikaze will come out unscathed from that one. You better tune in next week, basically.
You absolutely do. Same time, same place with us here at the Creator Series. And if you haven't done all of the great, amazing things that you need to do to watch some great sim racing, you make sure that you like, you share, you subscribe, you do all of those wonderful YouTube and Twitch and all the rest of it things that you need to do in order to make sure that you are watching some of the best sim racing in the world. From John Isamusing Harris, from Gareth Allen behind the scenes, my name has been Jake Sperry, and this has been a simple game, some would say, at one of the toughest racing tracks out there. The best have decided to step up as creators and say, we're going to have a throwdown and a duel. But at the moment, it's a case of Aerotech just being a little bit shy. Kamikaze, yes, this is his sort of terrain, but ultimately was one step short from Crandon, DALL'OLMO. Dominant here today and saying, I will pick up and make dirt my specialty once more. We'll see you, though, at what is a boring of a track when we head over to Connecticut and to one brilliant circuit that comes up next in Lime Rock Park. We'll see you with the FF 1600s.